in Harokopio University of Athens. He is also the Director of Digital Governance and Digital Skills of GRNet, which is the Greek Research and Technology Network. Professor Varlamis, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you also for you being here and to attend my presentation. I hope that this presentation will be interesting. Will be found. Will find it very interesting, although it's not, let's say, strongly related with user experience or all these AR, VR, or these creative projects that some of you at least are developing. But at the end of the day, I will talk to you about a platform and the whole project that we are developing that has thousands of users in Greece. And as a matter of fact, it also has to take into account the dimension of user experience. So for the non-Greek speaker, the name of this platform is MITOS, but it doesn't have to do anything with myth. So it's not mythos, or it's MITOS. MITOS is actually the string that, according to the fable, Ariadne has given to Theseus in order to exit the labyrinth. So the idea of MITOS is that we give to the citizens a solution to get out of the labyrinth of bureaucracy. So this is more or less the history behind the name. So I will go through the details of MITOS in a few seconds. I will try to run fast in some of the slides. I will give you some. I will say some words about GeoNet, which is actually a company, state-owned company under the auspices of the Ministry of Digital Governance, at least for the last 5 years. Before that, it was under the Ministry of Education. We are developing a lot of services based on our past. We were developing a lot of services that have to do with the network connection, the network connectivity of universities, schools, and so on in Greece. So mostly services related to the infrastructure provided to all these bodies that belong to the Ministry of Education. But also during the last few years, we are developing a lot of software, let's say, solution, a lot of platforms and information systems for the Ministry of Digital Governance and also for other ministries in order to speed up, to accelerate their digital transformation. They are a step towards the digital transformation. So maybe some of you, especially the Greek students, can recognize some of the words there. Maybe Okeanos, if you are professors here or a bit older students. But also there are other services, that, the HPC service that we give also to researchers that require high performance computing infrastructure. Eudoxus, which is the platform for declaring the books, the university books, the books that you need in the university, and so on. So as you can see, there are several services. At the bottom right there, maybe most of you have heard of GovGR. GovGR is the single digital gateway for services, for digital services in Greece. So any type of service that is addressed to the citizens and is already digital can be found through GovGR and can be accessed through GovGR. And through there, you can apply, you can make a digital application. And in some cases, in most of the cases, you can also get the replies, the reply to the response to your application, also digital. So this is the main operation of GovGR. I would like to say one word about the new infrastructure that GRNet is orchestrating this period. It's the new national supercomputer called Daedalus. Once again, we have to do with labyrinths and this history, this fable. we were developing a data center in Lavrio, in the cultural park, technological cultural park of Lavrio. And the objective there is to develop the hardware infrastructure and also develop the software on top of this hardware infrastructure. And finally, the services on top of this software, services that will be useful for companies, private companies, universities, and everyone else. And gradually to support what is written there, the first Greek AI factory, actually one of the 7 AI factories in Europe, called Pharos, which is targeted mainly to companies that are interested in using high performance computers, supercomputing, and AI, and all these upcoming technologies in order to develop a state of the art solution and make business. So this is a new project, project that is currently running. The infrastructure is expected to be ready within 2026, but okay, who knows, maybe we'll have some delays, but actually the project has an initial plan and we'll have to stick on. And these are some of the projects that in my directorate we are working with. I don't stick on all of them, but I would like to talk about the second one here, the DigiGov InnoHub, which is one of the 7, if I remember well, innovation hubs that we have in Greece. And the objective of this innovation hub, and specific of DigiGov InnoHub, is to bring together companies, mainly SMEs and universities and public administration, help them, let's say, accelerate their step towards digital transformation, help them to deliver new AI-enabled services, IoT-related services, and so on, engage all these new technologies in solutions that are targeted to the citizens, of course. And this is something that is already, let's say, running for 3 years and is expected to run until June of 2026. And what we are trying to do there is to find more SMEs that have some solutions to give, to provide to public administration. We're trying also to collect requirements from public administration and try to establish successful pilots between the two, which we expect that will soon become new projects and new collaboration between the SMEs and the public administration and the central, let's say, administration. So if you have any ideas, if you are working on if you're having an SME or you're working on an SME and you have a product that you think that fits the needs of public sector, and mainly if you are using all these kind of technologies, or if you are intending to use all these kind of technologies, you can talk to me, or you can come to InnoHub and receive services, mainly consulting, but also services in terms of access to infrastructure, and also in some cases support in different levels of development for establishing successful pilots. I will move to GovZR. I was talking about that before, and here you go, which is a similar digital portal for the European citizens. So for European citizens that want to do something in Greece, so they can go to GovZR and, for example, start a new company, a new business in Greece by applying through GovZR. Of course, the services there are far less than in GovZR. And of course, MITOS and the Citizen Service Center information system. I will talk about MITOS later on. The Citizen Service Center information system is actually the application, the system that all the citizen service centers are using today. There are more than 1,000 such centers in Greece, in order to take applications from the citizens, handwritten applications maybe, or whatever, and make them digital and send them to the respective authority in order to serve the citizen, to support the citizens. So what we have done actually here, which also may be of interest to you, is that we managed to increase the accessibility to the AAA level of this application, because we had requirements from the employees there that who wanted to use it, although they have some vision inabilities. Actually, they're completely blind, so they needed to access our system with their specific devices. So let's start. Before going to MITOS specifically, I will also want to say a few words about the background of administrative processes in Greece and all the story behind the digital transformation in Greece. As you see there, it started in 2020. Now we are already in 2025. So now we are already, the ministry is already designing the new plan for 2030, the new Bible, as they call it, for the 2020-30, for 2030. And as you see there in the spiral there, we have some principles that we're trying to stick on, not only for MITOS, but for all the applications and the information systems that are developed in public sector. So we try, for example, to serve the once only principle, which means to store the data of the citizen in a single place and access this data from a single place in all other applications through interoperability. Okay, and then another, let's say, spiral here with some more requirements for the digital transformation strategy. We need to deliver cross-border services, cross-national services. We need to have reliable and trusted digital services. We need to be open, transparent, so the code is actually open and someone can have access to it. We use open source software when we're developing the solution and so on. And also we adopt agile development models, which is something that we also adopted in MITOS. Okay, so this is a slide that contains, let's say, the legal framework behind MITOS, which is also something that we have to consider. We have an idea, we have a solution, we have the technical solution, but in order to have this solution working for the whole country, we have to take care of the legal, let's say, framework. And for this, we had a very good support from the Ministry of Digital Governance and now from the Ministry of Interior, which is actually supervising, let's say, the operation of MITOS. And of course, through the COVID period, we had also several improvements that allowed us to have, let's say, more building blocks, let's say, in our hands, such as the digital signatures that are now available for most of the public servants. And also we have GovGR, and as I will show you later on, we have MITOS, which is also legally, let's say, provision. Finally, we have an interesting platform. It's called How To, which actually works like an online manual for citizens who want to use GovGR services. So we try to create, to develop educational material. Okay. So before moving to the details of MITOS, I would like to clarify some concepts. Maybe in some cases I also, let's say, as I speak, I confuse and use these services interchangeably, but actually they are different. They have different these words interchangeably, but they have different meanings. So I will talk about live events, services, and procedures. So when we talk about services, public services, actually we refer to all the services that are available to the citizens or to the companies, to the businesses from the public sector, let's say, since we're talking about public services. And the idea is that these services will actually start with a request, with an application from the citizen or from the business owner. This application could be digital or hand, let's say, in a paper, on a paper. And then using this application and one or more inputs, one or more related documents, there is someone that performs a procedure, a process, and the procedure of this process is described next, and delivers an output. So delivers an answer for the citizen or register this information in an information system in an application. So this is the idea of public services. So it's the interface between the public administration and the citizen, what we offer to the citizen. And the citizen service centers, of course, are the one-stop shops for citizens who are not very well engaged with technology or with digital services and so on. So they can go there and receive support in using these information services. Now, concerning procedures, the procedure is the let's say, the work that we do behind the scenes, behind the desk. So it's the steps that the public servant has to do when the application arrives to him or her in order to produce the output. So this is also important. What we realized while we were developing MITOS is that this procedure is not clear for all services. Although it is written in some legal documents in the law or in some directives that have been issued after the law, this procedure is not clear to everyone, or even to the public servants. Imagine about citizens. So what we've tried to do is try to visualize this procedure within MITOS. So adding to the transparency, let's say, of these services. Okay. And then we have the life events, which is something complex, more complex than a single service or than a single procedure. It's something that happens in our lives and makes us ask from us to use the public services. So maybe we have an event, for example, here I have, I think, an example. Yeah, we have a birth, and then according to a few years ago, this was the things that a citizen has to do. It has to declare birth, to declare the family member, to get the social security number, to declare to the insurance agencies. All these on the top are services. So the citizen has to do 6 different things, to go to 6 different places and do 6 different things. Or even if we have them in GovGR, the citizen had to log in and make 6 different applications. And then we had the procedure. We had someone in the public administration that takes these applications and processes them. What we have done, actually, this is a good example, one of the few examples actually of simplification, is that we try to hide all this complexity behind the scenes. So now we ask the citizens to declare the birth only in a single place, in the hospital actually, and then all these other services, let's say former services, do not exist anymore. So either they are implemented through interoperability. So when you declare a birth in the application in the hospital, this information is retrieved from all the other systems, is propagated to all the other systems, and everything is done. Or if this is not done automatically through interoperability, someone has to do this, but not the citizen. So we have this complexity, or we remove this complexity in the first step. Okay, this is one example of simplification. Of course, there are other examples. Maybe someone may decide that we don't have to notify, for example, the Citizen Service Center, or we don't have to, I don't know, to notify someone, some public agency, but this is something more complicated. Okay, so this is, let's say, the whole ecosystem behind MITOS. As you see down in the bottom in the middle, you can see the National Registry of Procedures, which is the full name of MITOS. Actually, this is the single point where the metadata, as we call them, about services are registered. So all the information about the service, I will show you in a few moments what type of information this is registered in MITOS. No execution, nothing is done there. Only the information about the service or the internal procedure behind the service. And then we have this information shared with other pillars of the national strategy for digitization, which is the Observatory for Bureaucracy and the National Framework for Process Simplification. They sound a bit dully and a bit, let's say, say a product of imagination, but actually they are here. So there is actually another system that monitors the bureaucracy, tries to collect information about how fast the procedures are executed. We have a framework that tries to redesign procedures and design, let's say, faster procedures behind the services. And of course, this information in MITOS is also shared in GovGR, is also visible into the employees of citizen service centers. Now they know what are the requirements, the input requirements for executing a service, and so on and so forth. Skip this slide. So what we try to do at the first step is we try to be interoperable. So we try to share the information of MITOS, and I will show you in a few moments this information, with all other systems. This is step one. So interoperability, and in the same time, single point of truth. Also, we took care so that information that MITOS uses that comes from other systems is updated on the other systems and not replicated within MITOS. This is also a single point of truth implementation, a single point of truth implementation, but for MITOS. But also we try to see the human impact. So, for example, when we designed MITOS, we worked with citizens. We had citizens in the groups of along working together with our designers, and we also had public servants that will use MITOS as end users. So we try to incorporate their requirements, their opinions. Of course, we took care about accessibility and inclusivity as much as we could. Actually, also had some time limitation at some point, and we try to improve it continuously. We have some accessibility support, basic accessibility support at the moment. And we also try to have transparency and trust. So we added more information for the citizens that probably it's not of importance to every citizen, but it's there. For example, how the service is executed internally, which is also useful. So this is the story of MITOS, of the labyrinth and Theseus fighting Minotaur, and then having to get out of this labyrinth. So the objective of MITOS was to record all the information about administrative procedures. This is step one. And then we have to find a solution to continuously update this information. Do you have any idea of how many administrative procedures we have nowadays, at least in MITOS? Maybe this, do you have an idea of a number? Can you give me a number of how many? 100, eh? Okay. More? 101, 102? 4,000. Yeah, you have seen the slides. Yeah. Okay, so it's 4,000. Yeah, at least we're expecting to be more or less around 4,000. Maybe it's a bit more. It's around 5,000. So it's too many. So we have to find a solution in order to record them, to register them, and update them, keep them up to date. And this solution is not only technical; it's also legal. So we have to find a way to force, let's say, some employee, to update the procedure once this procedure has changed. Okay. Okay, the benefits are many. You can imagine. For example, if you want to go now to GovGR, or not to a GovGR, to a public service and to a public, let's say, a public authority, in order to use the service, you have to take with you a lot of documents. So you don't know always what are the documents. You just search in the web and try to find the solution. So now most of the time you can use MITOS and try to search for the documents that you need to go to collect before making your application. And then you have all this the information. We also have information about what is happening behind the desk. And also this is useful for the public sector, because new employees that enter the public sector now do not need to ask other employees or older employees about how this procedure is done or how the other procedure is done. Everything is there. Everything is in MITOS. We also have more information about supervisors. I will show a few slides later on. Okay, so how to do it and do it fast. So within the first year actually of MITOS, now MITOS is up for 4 years more or less. During the first year of MITOS, we managed to register about half of the procedures. And this was actually a very, very difficult task to accomplish. But this was accomplished because we took advantage, we used, we were supported by around 800 public servants, public employees. So this was actually a crowdsourcing model, we could say. So 800 people is a crowd, actually. It's not 2 or 3 or 10, a group of 10. So it's a crowdsourcing approach, but it's a kind of controlled crowdsource approach. So not everyone, not every citizen or every public servant can go to MITOS and register a service or the procedure behind the service. So we had all this hierarchy of super users, executive officer, admins. Some of the roles I would leave them apart. They are not doing anything. They're just giving the final okay, the final approval. But in any case, they are responsible for something. So this is also important for this type of information. Okay, and then we have the 800 editors, and also we have some special editors which are appointed specifically for some fast, let's say, tasks, like, for example, registering the EU Go cross-border services. And then we needed the platform. So we did all this. This is the framework. This is the legal framework, the organizational framework, and then we need the platform. And here comes MediaWiki. So probably many of you have used, all of you have used Wikipedia, have seen Wikipedia. MediaWiki is the software behind Wikipedia. Some of you probably have tried to edit an article in Wikipedia. You have seen something not really like this. You have seen a page where you have to write text with some specific formatting instructions. So we had to convert it to something more useful, more easy, user-friendly for the editors. So we used an extension which is called page forms, and we created this kind of forms. Some of the boxes there are text boxes, but we also have some drop-down lists and all these things that allow us to control the information that is entered for each procedure. So we had MediaWiki and page forms. And this is more or less the result. You can go also by yourself. You can open your smartphone and try to open mitos.gov.gr and see this information. We'll see the first page, but after a few clicks, you will go to this, or after a search, you will go to these pages. As you see on the top, we have the at a glance info, the most useful, let's say, information that someone needs to know. And then on the left, we have some links that go, that take you further down in the page where you can see more details. Some of them are not very useful for the citizens, but we try to keep a balance between the two. Also, we have information that is not pointed, it's not visible to the citizens, but it's there. So we have information that the ministry, let's say, decided not to show to the citizens because maybe it's not of interest to the citizen or they don't want to show about that. Anyway, so okay, we also use technology. Let's say here we use Semantic MediaWiki, another extension of MediaWiki that allows us to create new knowledge from the existing knowledge. So we have people that register procedures. Each procedure has a field where it says who is responsible for this procedure, for example. This is one thing. And then with Semantic MediaWiki, we were able to make a query and see what are the procedures that this organization is responsible for. So we have more information that comes by querying the original information. So this increased also the information that we can show to the users. Another thing that is important, actually, something that has to do with the speed that we populated MITOS with the services, is that we have talked with banks here in Greece, who are interested in using MITOS and also adopting a similar model because they are working with a group of 4 people for 3 or more years, and they managed to register only 100 procedures out of the thousands that they also have. So this model is actually something that worked well, and it's also kind of state of the art, let's say, for this type of things. We also use standards. So these are the information that we record. We ask the public servant to record for every procedure that is registering. As you can see, we have the official title as it is stated in the law, alternative titles or user-friendly titles, citizen-friendly titles, and so on. Description, the laws behind the legal and regulatory framework, which is not important maybe for the citizen, for all the citizens, but maybe in some cases, for example, a lawyer supporting a citizen may need to have access to the regulatory framework also. The evidence, which is important for all of us, the required evidence, the conditions that apply, whether someone is eligible for this service or not, the registries that are updated when you use this service, for example, the birth registry or whatever, the tax registry, the cost of using this service, the fees that you have to pay, and what is important, okay, the organization, the estimated processing time, and so on, the execution steps. This is something that actually it's not in the official, let's say, standard, but we added it because it's important for us and for our user. How the procedure is executed. So the standard is this one. It's called Core Public Service Vocabulary, or CPSV for short. And this is a European standard from an organization called CEMIC, formerly called ISA Square. Now it's called CEMIC, and they also have developed more vocabularies, more, let's say, ontologies and schemas, such as the core public organization vocabulary, the CPOV. These are the two standards that we already adopt from this for these vocabularies. As you see here, this is the data model of this standard. I will not go into more details, but I will show you here what are the data model at a very high abstraction level. We have the organization, which is responsible for something. We have the service, or the service that is available for the citizens. We have the input and the output, in simple words. And then we added to this thing the procedure steps. Okay, this is the addition that we made to CPSV. Okay, for visualizing the procedure, okay, I'll try to speed up. We used BPMN, which is another standard for procedures. I will really speed up now. Okay, so as you may know, BPMN is a visual standard. It has all these visual tools for defining the steps, the decision steps, and so on. So there are tools, visual tools that you can use to describe your procedure, as you can see there. But this is quite complicated for a public servant. So we try to make it simpler for them and also for the citizens. So we developed a form style input where they can describe each step, the next step, the forthcoming step, the branching step, and so on. And they can generate something similar to this one. So they can have all the flow from the beginning to the end, or to the alternative endings like this one for the citizen, for an application basically. Okay, we have developed more building blocks. These are some initial plots, what we call an initial dashboard, but now we are developing more complex dashboard. This is useful for those that were monitoring the process of registering all these 4,000 services. Okay, and then we have building blocks like the translation. We have automatic translation because we have the English and the Greek version of the site. And the translated text was semi-automatically generated using the e-translation API and also a transformer-based translator. And then we ask the editors to verify these automatic translations. We're also developing some site registries. We try to organize things. So instead of having the evidence description as raw text, for example, you need to have a birth certificate. You need to have 2 photographs or whatever. We try to create a registry of these certificates and limit, let's say, the range of possible values there. And also a few more registries. Now, concerning reusability and single point of truth, we use external registries. For example, the registry of public organization, which is ready from another site, from another information systems. We use the National Registry of State Fees and access it. We use the live events vocabulary from GovGR and so on. Okay, we developed an API. This is something that may be of interest to you. This API is open. Anyone can access MITOS, make requests, and download, let's say, all the information that is in MITOS. Please, if you try to use it wisely. We will soon try to make it token. We will soon make it token based, so you have to ask for a token before using it. Okay, we added some feedback forms for the citizens and also for the employees that are using the platform. So it's quite simple if you find what you're looking for and try to overall evaluate the website, and also try to provide some free text comments. Okay, these are the feedback forms. We also have some follow-up forms, so you can also give your email or your full details if you want to receive a response about that. We also have support for the editors. We have a ticketing system for the editors in order to support them better. Okay, we also made a lot of training and awareness. We use the how-to platform to develop some training materials and learning videos and courses. We also had some publicity in order to motivate and disseminate, let's say, that MITOS exists. Okay, this is a video about MITOS and the results so far. So we have 4,000, a bit more than 4,000 published procedures. So they are registered, validated, and then made public. But we also have more under processing in different categories, provided to different groups of people, and using different type of for different type of, let's say, actions. Okay, this is the information, and then we have MITOS Mobile. This is not actually yet available, but we have designed a mobile version of MITOS, and it will soon be the new, let's say, look and feel of MITOS for smartphones. These are the statistics. As you may see here, the numbers, we have more or less 900,000 page views per month, which is more than 30,000 views per day, which is actually something that we have to consider. It ranks, let's say, on the top sites, government sites that has visited after GovGR. Okay, and now some more references. We are collaborating with academia and also with companies trying to develop more solutions about MITOS, mainly by sharing with them our API, by helping them use our API and our data wisely and develop new services. We have received some awards for MITOS at European level, and these are some of a few actually of the applications that use MITOS information through interoperability. So this is the MITOS website. This is the EUGO portal. This is the Citizen Service Center portal that also displays related information. This is the single digital gateway for Europe, and this is MIGov, the chatbot of GovGR that used MITOS information in order to be trained for responding to citizens' questions. So it is worth visiting labs.mitos.gov.gr, which is our approach to showcase what research teams from all around Greece or even other countries in the future have developed using MITOS data. So if you have any ideas, we can be in contact. You can develop something, and then we can showcase your results in Labs MITOS. Here is, for example, a semantic search engine. So now you don't have to ask with exact keywords that the public servant used to describe the service, but you can use your own keywords. You can even type your question in another language, in many different languages, and you will get redirected to the matching services in MITOS. We have some new dashboards, some graphs, knowledge graphs that are created from the information that exists in MITOS. More dashboards, as you can see here. And the MITOS Link Open Data is a recent project that we run with University of Macedonia. They developed a module that takes data from MITOS API, converts it into RDF, which is, let's say, semantic triplets. And these semantic triplets can be used for making queries, more queries on top of MITOS data. And I will close with this slide. This is the new project that we are almost ready to start with the ministry. Actually, now with the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Financial Affairs, which is called like this, economics, I don't know. The next gen of MITOS. We have planned to develop advanced analytics to create this knowledge graph as RDF or in any other structure, and take full advantage of this. And we have already some first results, research results on it that will be put in practice. We try to deliver personalized services for the citizens, for example, to show the citizens the services that are most of interest to them. For example, using information concerning to what they have seen so far or the queries they have done in the past. But we're not ready yet for this. And then to share this information with companies, with SMEs that are digitizing processes, that automating processes in order also to support service automation. And finally, we try to strengthen the community of practice, the community of all those people that are working with MITOS, either as editors, as researchers, as educators, and so on. So this was it from my side, and I would be glad to hear your questions. Thank you. Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for your talk. Congrats for the amazing work that you do over there. I've got two questions, quick ones. First one is how you, GeoNet, to what extent have you worked as an independent entity, or conversely, how closely have you been monitored and supervised by the ministry? And second question, you mentioned in a couple of slides, you mentioned something like user-first approach or design or service design. Can you give us more details on how you approach those aspects, and what kind of people actually look after those aspects, and what kind of expertise those people have?
Okay. Thank you for these two questions. So for the first one, okay, I'll start with the second because I already forgot the first one. But concerning the people that use on this participatory design, as we call it, we had the chance to work with actually a graduate from this department here. I don't know if you are from this department. Okay, you know Valia Christoulaki, probably, yeah. So yeah, we had the chance to work with her before she moved to UK, I think. She had a lot of interviews with the end user. They mapped all this information in flows, in all these think boards, and so on and so forth. And then they came back to us with feedback concerning what information is useful for the citizen, what is not, what is first priority, what is second priority. Okay, and now I will respond to the first question. Then we went to the ministry and we said, okay, the citizens want this information. And they said, okay, you want this information, or the citizen want this information, but the prime minister, the minister, sorry, wants to show in the first page that we have 4,000 or 2,000 services. So we had some kind of interaction and some type of, let's say, guidance on this, okay. But I would say that they accepted many of the things that we said to them, that we suggested to them, but not easily. It took us some time to make their minds, to persuade them that this is useful, in some cases in a tricky way. So, for example, they accepted to have labs MITOS. After we told them that there are already universities that they are teaching business process modeling, and they use MITOS data now, so they have information to use. So they realized that it is good to showcase this, to showcase the course that they have, or things like that, the studies that they do. We have developed the mobile app, but the mobile app is not available yet because they're not sure that they want to launch a mobile app, a single mobile app for all the government application, or different mobile apps for different things. So yeah, it's a game. Okay. I don't know how. I will organize myself. I think it's over there, there, and there. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, Professor, I will say. George, you can ask me later if you want. Or it's the question that we have discussed already.
It's congratulations.
Thank you.
I agree. It's very impressive.
To the team, actually, the team deserves the congrats.
I have two questions. One, how you define a procedure? And the question is there any recursion in that? For instance, a procedure can contain other procedures in it. So this definition is very important, because very often as citizens we have to achieve something, but then we have to go through many steps. So the granularity and the scope of a procedure is something which I would like your definition. Second, as we were talking, giving this very interesting talk, I had just have a quick look at MITOS, and I went under education, and I found the procedure which was something like the University of Thessaly, the procedure for applying for a master's program. Okay, that's fair enough, very good of them, but there are thousands of master programs in Greece. The other universities don't seem to be there. So is there any way of imposing the process? I mean, for instance, University of the Aegean, where we are, do they know that they have to register their procedure for their master's program, and why they are not there? That's the second one. And third and final, for us citizens, it's very important to know the performance of public administration. So it would be interesting, since you'd be doing this really good work, to attach performance indicators, like the delay, the latency of an application for a certain procedure out of these 4,000 procedures, which is really impressive. To know whether the how the public administration is working and how it's serving the citizens, which is why
Okay.
they are there.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, so many questions, but I think that all makes sense. And I will also start again from the last one, trying to link also with the previous questions. So one thing that you can do is any citizen, for example, can take the data from MITOS and do any study that he or she wants, depending, for example, concerning the duration of service execution and things like that. These are not actual numbers, but these are numbers that, let's say, are estimated numbers given by the public servants. So this is something that can be done. And of course, the ministry cannot say anything because this is open data, and the post-processing of this open data, hopefully, is allowed. Okay. The second thing is that we have information from the Citizen Service Center. So we have actual information concerning the time taken needed for serving each specific case, each specific application for different cases. So we have this productivity, let's say, type of information. So we're discussing it with the ministry for 2 or 3 years, trying to persuade them that this information is useful. They skipping somehow. They do not understand, or probably they don't want to understand. But this is something that now, for example, we have another project, the bureaucracy of public administration, as I showed you earlier, and we are discussing with the researchers that are responsible for that project, the bureaucracy project. We're telling them that in your index, in your KPI, let's say, you can use data from the Citizen Service Center. So you can include them directly to your Citizen Service Center. So we're trying to bypass the ministry this way. So to make this information available to the citizens by importing it, by making it available for an index for monitoring the bureaucracy. So my motto there is that the data are there. If we keep sharing this data, if we keep opening the data, then the solutions will come and all the solutions will be established. Okay, this was question number 3. Concerning the first question was about the complexity, let's say, of procedures, the services and procedures. Okay, I will say one thing. If you go to one service in MITOS and the steps behind the service, you have the documents, the documents that you have to provide. Behind each of these documents, there is another procedure that has to run. So actually, in essence, there is complexity there, hidden there. So yeah, this is the response. So procedure is what the public servant has to do behind the desk when he receives an application. This is our definition of procedure. So we don't take into account what the citizen has to do before going to apply, for preparing, let's say, the application. I hope that this response. I think that you had another question, but yeah, okay. This is not actually something that I can confidently answer, but according to MITOS design, let's say, any public body that is responsible by the law to register this information can ask to register this information in MITOS. So can ask for an account and do it. But probably the information has not reached all the universities. So this is an intermediate phase now, especially for the procedures that are held by the local government, let's say, bodies, not the central government. For the yes. So George.
So thank you and congrats on the great work. On the same line as Damianos, but on a different level, not designing, evaluating the service that Gov provides. As you know, the chapter and the community has a vision, let's say, of an usability of observatory, which has not been implemented in its full course. And I would like your approach, your suggestion on how this could be implemented, let's say. How should be approached? Which door do we knock? So.
Yeah, okay. This is a good question. I don't have, let's say, the address book of of all the public governance, but you can try with us, and probably you can showcase something with MITOS or Citizen Service Center application. We can support you in this, and then yeah, and also there is another. There's some other people in GovGR who are responsible for the usability of GovGR, let's say, delivered services. So you can also discuss with them. I can bring you in contact with them. Yeah, and yeah. Yeah, okay. But they are also very open-minded, so maybe this works. Okay. So thank you.